Hi, Bright Lights. Thank you for being here. My name is Tina, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the inner child. I'm also going to pull some cards to see how you guys are all doing with this subject because it has been coming up a lot for me in my downloads that I am getting. So what I plan to do is I plan to start with a short channeling that I did from my guardian angel, Infanshala. Then we're going to pull some tarot cards and get some oracle cards. And we'll do a little bit of a deep dive. And then I'm going to put a specific meditation that has really helped me on my journey, uh, uh, getting back in touch with the inner child. And I will put that in the description box below. So I'm going to start with my channeling that I did earlier today from Infant Shala. It is the reconnecting to the child within that has been lost on your journey due to the nature of your path. A time for reconnection and healing is upon us now. This child within, this lost part of you, is waiting patiently for the reconnection. Go back and reintroduce yourself to the child. You were forced to hide this child, and there has been great suffering because of that. It is where all your curiosity and wonder is. The joy of feeling free and that everything will be okay is part of this child. Because the child comes into the world and doesn't worry about anything, the child's needs get met. However, your child missed out on much of that beautiful energy. But it is not too late. You can rewrite the script and reintroduce yourself to your child within. You can ask the child what it needs and what you can do to heal your relationship. Just being open to allowing the child within to be heard. Meditate and ask for signs. Play or do something that makes you giggle. The joy is there, and your child within is waiting. Well, that is a wonderful message from my guardian angel about the child within. And so, what I believe he was referring to is many of us, and this is part of what my journey has been all about, was this abandonment from my parents, from myself as a child. And that can be through not validating emotions, not being heard. It can be physical abuse and mental abuse, or just plain not nurturing and loving the child as the child is. And it goes deep with a lot of us. And so, what happens when you have these kind of traumas? You shut down that inner child part of you. And for me, it was the emergence of the codependency, the people pleasing aspect, because for me, it was a way to make myself feel valued and make myself heard. And but codependency is basically abandoning yourself, because it's all about doing for others in order to get your own needs met. You don't feel that you can meet your own needs, and you start getting into this very trauma bonded relationship. And most empaths and codependents like myself attract narcissists in, because narcissists, they are attracted to your light and your energy and feeling and wanting to be cared for and all of those wonderful things. And you are actually, as a codependent, are attracted to what appears to be their frame, their confidence, there's a safety there because they come across as being so strong in themselves. It's all an illusion. These trauma bonds are all That's why they don't usually work out and they cause a lot of suffering, because we're not yet seeing through the illusions of the codependency. And codependency has this manipulative quality. And it took me quite a while on my journey to really look at that shadow aspect of myself that was, well, if I am nice to you and I give you all of this, I should eventually get some love and get my needs met that way. So there is this manipulative energy that we need to look at as empaths and codependency, because that again is not a true energy that we want to be emanating, because what happens is it emanates out this sense of neediness. And that's why you end up attracting in these types of people. And I had them, of course, my parents started this whole thing. And then it worked into my work relationships, my intimate partners, and some friends that I had. So I was pretty burnt out from giving and giving. And then what happens is there's a level of resentment that starts to rise up in these relationships because you never get your needs met. I mean, I can think of many examples. One in particular is just my one of my work relationships and my boss. And I would always be willing to volunteer and drop everything and work extra hours to get things done, to make sure that, everything was going well and that I would be looked upon as being this, you know, really good person, and really wanting to get the adoration and wanting to be treated well, and of course get paid more for doing that. But what ended up happening is whenever I needed something, or if I needed to leave to go watch my kids' game, or, a program, there would always be, well, we're just too busy right now. They could never, ever meet any of my demands. It was all one-sided. And that's what happens in these relationships, is that you will never get your needs met because of the energy that you're emanating out. So it's very important to do this inner child work. And I will give a couple examples of things that we can do. But I do want to pull some cards first, because I want to see what the cards have to say. And so the first card that's popping out is the Six of Cups. And this is, again, there is the child. This is the past, and living in the past. So, many of us are playing out these patterns and we may not even be aware of them. So it's very important for us to start looking at the dynamics, and especially if you're feeling resentful and you're feeling used, and there's a lot of your emotions will tell you when things are out of balance. You'll be definitely out of alignment in this kind of energy, because it's meant for you to start reparenting that child. And so this is a lovely energy, but it is one of nostalgia and living in the past. And we want to heal this little child here from our higher selves and build the relationship so that we are functioning rather than codependent from a self-dependent energy. And we want to attract in self-dependent people. People, like, we want to be able to regulate our own emotions and not have this neediness, to get love or to get support, that we can support ourselves and love ourselves. And what we end up doing is we actually end up attracting in those partners that share in the love. And then there's more support. So, because again, not everybody has to be strong and super independent all the time. But when you have done your work and you become this self-dependent person, then it's a more whole energy, a higher consciousness energy. So then you can be attracted to people who have this self-dependent energy. And then there can be more give and take, or if you're having a bad day, then that person will validate your feelings and know what to say. And you can do the same for others. So it's a very ebb and flow of the relationship, and it's very much more harmonious. And I'm finding I'm coming into those types of relationships, especially in my work environment, where I feel like I'm being heard, and people aren't expecting these unrealistic expectations of me as an employee. So again, that was a great way to start off this reading. And so we have the Seven of Wands. And this is that energy of, you're standing on your higher ground. You're starting to become aware of the actions that are driving this. And this can be a very defensive energy as well. And that is also tied to the inner child, any type of defensive, triggering energy. You've had a lot of battles and you've had to fight your way, but that's not how your life needs to be. You shouldn't have to always be defending yourself from a higher perspective, but you want to start looking at what these wands, these actions here, because wands are all about actions, what they represent, and coming into that standing, on your higher ground, but in a stable way. Yeah, so here we've got the Nine of Wands now, which is we can get to the point of breaking. This is being very overwhelmed and ready to give up energy. And that's what can happen when we are basically abandoning ourselves. And that's what codependency is. It's abandonment of the self. You basically set yourself on fire to warm others. And I heard that from a spiritual teacher that I had liked to listen to, Aaron Doty, and that really appealed to me. I was like, yes, how many times did I abandon my own needs and my own health to try to make my environment feel safe and make everyone happy, because then I felt like, okay, I got this. I got this under control. Everybody's good. I've got everybody taken care of, but it would always fall apart. You cannot do enough. You cannot stand on your head long enough if you are in any type of a narcissistic relationship, because it will never pan out for you. You will never get your needs met in that type of a relationship. It just will not work no matter where you are. And again, this isn't about narcissistic personality disorder, but it is about attracting people who are very self-centered and very much they use people for their own benefit. And that is a very narcissistic way to be. We can all be narcissistic at times. It's a scale. We can all be a little bit selfish, and it goes back and forth. But this is about, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I just can't do this anymore, this is actually a really good sign that you are ready, that the opening, the breaking open is coming. The resolutions are coming. Yeah, so here is the Four of Cups. And so this is about going within. We cause our own suffering by these types of trauma bonded relationships, because again, we're looking to others to meet our needs instead of going within to do the healing work that's required. And when we can start to become the observer of our life with healthy detachment, that and stop falling for the illusions of the emotional triggers that have been these patterns, then you can really start to do some healing work. And so here he is. He's not looking to the outside world for an offer or for emotional support here. He is looking within now. I'm going to find the answers are in here. And then here's the Chariot. So this is taking action. This is negotiating. This is moving forward. So you guys, you were on the cusp of this, of doing this healing work so that we can move forward in our lives. And so this is 2025 is coming right on the cusp here, making a new year where we're going to move forward. We're going to get some stuff done. We're going to start to become the observers in our life. And this is a victory card as well. So we are headed for victory. This is the this is the action piece. I'm really glad that that came out. So we're going to pull one more card. Okay, so this is the deception. This can be self-deception. This is the Knight of Cups in reverse. The cheater, the one who tells you they love you and leaves you in the dust. So come on, you guys, let's start looking at these relationships in our life and what we are getting out of them and how much suffering it's causing for those little pieces that we're getting when we can have the whole pie. We just have to do the inner work. We have to start building and reconnecting to that inner child and start healing that inner child, because that's where a lot of our triggers come from, is this very abandoned, very neglected inner child that's within all of us. Because as Infant Shallow was talking about, that's where our joy, our playfulness, our curiosity, the wonder and awe of the universe, when you lose that, by these false emotionally support false gods, I call them, because they don't emotionally support you in any way, then that's how, we get into these little bits of traps. So again, it comes down to awareness. I know we're all going through this bright lights. I know you guys are with me on this journey. And I've been through the dark nights of the soul with this, and I'm actually now very grateful for that experience. Especially, I was in a 10-year relationship with a malignant narcissist that took a real toll on my health and of course, my self-worth, because this is all tied to self-worth as well. And I just got so stuck in this pattern, because the thing about it is, with this relationship, is it's not always bad. It is the most confusing place to be, but it's because you have lost your sense of self and you keep abandoning yourself and your lack of self-confidence and those types of things, that you constantly are questioning yourself. You get gaslit so much, your reality, you don't even know what's real and what's not. And that relationship just got more and more abusive, because what happens is you start to wake up and then you start to take your power back, and then it gets really treacherous, because they don't want to let go. They know they have you, and they will manipulate or do whatever they can to keep you in this role that they have you playing. And it's up to you to break out of it and to really look at that shadow side that we had talked about. That what are you getting out of it? I had a beautiful home, and I had horses, and I had a nice barn, and none of it belonged to me. It was all, and I was paying to live there and paying half of everything. And I ended up walking away with nothing, because again, I abandoned myself, totally abandoned myself. But you know what? It was one of the best learning experiences. It's when I had my biggest awakening, and it was when I really started to set my path of healing in motion. So all of it is not meant for you to suffer your whole life through these patterns. The patterns are there trying to wake you up, and you can move out of them. I'm a perfect example. I left with nothing, and I'm doing just fine. So it can be done. So let's pull a few cards and see what our angels and guides want you to know. And so here comes out honesty and communication. being honest with yourself, being honest with others. If you're in a safe environment, because I do have been in the physically abusive relationship where, again, honesty and communication are okay as long as you are in a safe space to do so. But if you aren't, of course, you have to be careful. And again, you don't want to abandon yourself. You don't want to we learn people's triggers. So we know when when we can trigger that narcissistic rage, and you get pretty much onto that game. So again, you still have to protect the self, but this honesty and communication for the self and your inner child is of most important. And that meditation that I'm going to put down, the Ho'oponopono, it's called the inner child. It is wonderful. It will help you to reconnect, and you can do that healing work. You can start it before you even leave these relationships. They will help you to get the strength to make the right decisions and to start to see, even build more clarity, because that's what it did for me when I started to do my inner work. Then I really started to build clarity. And so here is the Holy Spirit coming out. This is really great. Um, expect miracles. Really, it can happen for you. It can. There is, no matter how low you are, you can rise above it. The phoenix can rise from the ashes. No matter how much you have burnt yourself right to an ash, you can build that self-worth up. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Your guides want you to know they have your back on this. If you trust in them, they will open doors for you. They did for me. I didn't do it all on my own. It was a lot of inner work, talking to my guides, reconnecting to my inner child, and then starting to really love life again. And I am, I want people to know you don't have to be in a relationship to be happy. I have not been in a relationship for quite some time now, and I'm perfectly content. And I never thought I would say that in a million years, being a codependent. I was so needy to have somebody to rescue or take care of or fix or whatever it was. I couldn't even imagine being alone. It would have terrified me. But now I couldn't. I actually it now I'm almost in the opposite direction, where I'm really guarded with my personal space and my energy, because again, as you know, I do soul contract readings, and I'm a very sensitive person, and I need to be in a safe, clean, healthy area to decompress my energy. It's very important for us empaths to have sacred space to let go of all of those negative energies. Okay, and so here we have the Queen of the Light. Illumination, enlightenment, and then comes the celebration. So here we go. This is going to be a good year. It's not going to be easy. There's no cakewalks here. There's no quick fixes. This inner work takes time and patience and perseverance, but things do get better. They really do. And when things do show up, because in all our charts, we do have challenges that come up. The challenges seem so much easier once you get to this better place of being the queen of light. And this can be even for the masculine. If there are any masculine out there watching, this is for you too, because remember, it's all about balancing that masculine and feminine qualities within us. And masculines can also be empaths and they can attract narcissists as well. And lots of times these narcissistic women are very much in their toxic masculinity and they can be in their toxic femininity as well. So it works for, whether we are females or males, this energy works both ways, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Let's do a little bit of this archetype and see if we get an archetype that's kind of playing with all of us bright lights here right now that we need to look at. Because again, shadow work is important as well. We need to look at yeah, so this goes right into hand with this codependency, and it's this victim mentality where we get stuck with being the victim. And it's really this, we call it the trauma bond, and it's a triangle. And so it goes from perpetrator, bully, to rescuer, to victim. And so we kind of cycle through this triangle, and that's how you know when you're stuck in a trauma bond, is because you have a bully and you might be the rescuer to somebody, and then you end up feeling like the victim. And a lot of times narcissists are very much feel they're the victim, and so then they kind of push that energy back onto you, as like you're the perpetrator, you're not the victim, and I'm rescuing you. And so there's this trauma playing out between the both of you. And so the light side of the victim is prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others, again getting out of that triangle. So it's very good to understand when you are in your victim energy, but that you aren't wallowing in that victim energy. And then, of course, the shadow side is playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity and ability to maintain personal boundaries. And so that keeps that victim playing out for us. So that I'm really glad that we looked at that one, because that I see that now. I'm very open to looking at my own neediness, because that's what codependency is. It's this a little bit of this emotional neediness. And once you reconnect to that inner child and you start doing the reparenting, things will change, and you're going to lose relationships. It's the one thing that you really need to know. You will lose relationships because you won't be fulfilling their trauma bond. And that's not going to work for a lot of your relationships, because that's just part of being a human as we develop these patterns, especially those of us who have had severely traumatic childhoods that have really survived a lot of abuse, whether it's sexual and physical, emotional, mental, all of it. So my heart, my heart goes out to all of you. So I want to pull a couple more cards here before we wrap this up. I just feel there's a couple more things left to look at. And so, yep, this is north. So this is the energy of the north, and this is all about expansion. And number one is a sign of new beginnings. So new beginnings are coming in for you. New energy is coming in for you. So if you've been feeling exhausted and burnt out, and and maybe you burned a couple bridges in the past few weeks, that's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes things have to give, and sometimes they don't give very gracefully. This can be something that but I can see here, this is like due north. You're heading north, and you're this compass here. And I can see someone way down the path now. So it's coming. That's very beautiful energy as well. So we're going to end with the Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle to see what Metatron has for us today. Aha. Archangel Sandalphon with you now is supporting you on this journey. We're going to go to the book and see what Archangel Sandalphon, and I noticed on here that this is a 22. And a 22-4 is, this is higher wisdom. This is the highest you can go in your soul contract as far as understanding the whole, how we all interconnect, how everything works together. So you're going to get some big downloads coming up that are going to really put some of this into that higher consciousness perspective for you. And it says, it's a master number 22. It's Metatron's angelic other half. And so it says, working together always for your benefit, a perfect blend of contrasting energies that serve you well. And where one is present, the other will surely be. Archangel Sandalphon reminds you that the ideas, goals, and ambitions that Metatron has encouraged in you can best be achieved by taking your time, treading softly, and savoring every part of the journey. The summit of the mountain can be reached and awaits you. But you need to be gentle and create time for yourself to reach the end goal in good health and spirit and of sound mind. To be fixed only on the summit means you lose sight of all the wonders and learning experiences at each step of the intended journey to your destination. The morning sunrise reminds you of this, beckoning a new day and signaling another chance, another opportunity for you to try again, to take the next step, and to see each new encounter and moment as sacred and blessed. Remember, if you take a step back, tomorrow's a new day to move forward again. Just be kind to yourself. Your advancement forward is ensured, but take the time to feel the sunlight on your face and hear the birds' song in the morning and the sweet whisperings of the angels who love and support you. Let your soul soar as you allow it to feel free and unrestricted, savoring all that life has to offer. Music is some of the energy that Sandalphon brings to you now. He hosts a heavenly choir whose melodies and fine music lift the weary heart. Soothe the tired body, and ease the restless mind. Each musical note is sounded to resonate within the very depths of your being. Music and color unite in Metatron and Sandalphon to bring you joy and feed the soul and body as you journey on. Think today of a favorite color and gather it around you. Then remember and play a beloved song and let your ear chakras resonate with its melody. See and feel the beauty that is all around you. Notice the good in your life and all that is in harmony. So often you concentrate only on what is wrong or needing to be changed, but you are asked to be open to the love and hope that is around you at all times. However you may feel and whatever you are going through, come back to the simple pleasure of life, to music and song, to nature and light in all its myriad forms, sunlight, starlight, sunrise, sunset, all the natural healing energies that are available to you. Each aspect sustains and nourishes you in every step forward you take. Sandalphon brings comfort, beauty, and softness to you now and is with you in every footprint you make. Oh, what a beautiful card. I just love this. The colors in it too, the purple, the high consciousness gold and purple, and then this beautiful divine pink and orangey. That's just very gorgeous. And then the little harp is playing there. So wonderful. So that does it for today. So we're going to work on, I'm giving you your homework assignment, working on your inner child. Dig out an old picture of yourself, do the meditation, write letters to yourself, play an old game that you maybe enjoyed, or do a puzzle, something that reminds you of that carefree child that you used to be, if you ever had that opportunity. So I hope this has helped you today as a check-in to see where everybody was at, and I appreciate you for being here. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.